I think I have a CRT problem. Alright folks, so it is time to start on the second part of this pinball project, which is restoring the body. As you can see, I've already started some work on it, namely stripping the entire body, and yeah, this took quite a while. I've all the parts actually isolated and separated in different little containers, individual containers. So one area has all the screws and everything for that part, etc., etc. And I took pictures every time I was taking something off. There's a couple of things I couldn't remove is these guys. I'll try maybe with a better pliers just to unscrew these, but these are fairly rusted, so I might have to restore them with just a drill on the wire wheel directly here. We'll see how that goes. Otherwise, actually I need to take this guy off as well. Otherwise, I've pretty much everything removed. I've kept these for now, all these things here, because they're not in the way. Doesn't matter if they get painted, well, I'll leave them here for now. I might remove them afterwards. I still have a grill to remove. And as you can see, the bottom is gone. This was the bottom, and yeah, there's some, it's hard to show on the camera, but there's some very, very visible bulging. In fact, it didn't take much to remove it. I literally just pressed with the hand on 4 corners and this thing popped right out. The edges here were all just worn. So yeah, that's gonna be the first thing I need to do. I'm gonna, well, first clean it here, clean everything, try to remove these things, and then we're gonna make a new bottom that is nice and sound. I'll repaint all this from because the play field will be here somewhere, so most of this here I'll repaint it white so it's nice and clean and clear if I need to access stuff inside. Clean all that, and then there's the issue of these guys delaminating here, but these can be glued back. I'm not worried about that. And here, actually, let me see if I can just flip this onto the other side just to show you. I can do this with one hand pretty much, but the artwork here, as you can see, started come back, started taking off the artwork because well, the entire piece of wood is delaminating, so it's taking off this piece of wood with it. And a lot of people have suggested that I buy or remake a new cabinet. It's going to take a lot of wood. I don't have plans for it. I'm sure they're available somewhere. But I just want to save as much as I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip the art completely, leave this layer here, and then I still have a ton of well, that's some of it here, but I've loads and I've loads more in my shed of just fiberglass cloth. In fact, I've entire rolls of fiberglass cloth in my back shed there that I use for surfboards. So I'm just going to laminate a thin layer of fiberglass and resin. Still have some resin, and it should actually just level back to this wood. So I'll be able to actually have a nice flat surface. I'm going to use the same technique as I use for surfboards. You know, have some paper around the edges just to prevent the dripping, and then let the resin actually just find its level. It'll actually plug all these holes. It'll give me a nice smooth finish. I can sand it back afterwards, and we should be level here. There's a couple of areas here that I'm gonna have to just either well, take out and let the resin fill it, or just glue it back. Here I'll probably glue it back. The only thing I'm gonna have to remake is this guy, this top part. Some of the kind of chipboardy stuff here, and it's kind of structural stuff hangs off that, and as you can see, it's just delaminated way too much. So this piece I'm gonna have to remake. It's not a big deal, but the rest is sound, and this is the worst side. This side isn't too bad. So it's going to take less resin. I'm going to peel as much as I can of that just rotted, and it's not rotted, it's the laminated wood. Here it's peeling as well, just like the other side. And then there's this back one as well. I think it's just this layer that's laminating. So if I can actually just take all this off, I'm going to take pictures of all these stickers so I can actually repro them afterwards, just with a printer, because they're all just black and white. This I'll see. I'll take pictures of all of it anyway. Maybe I can just repro stuff myself and take all this out, and it doesn't matter actually here if there's just one thin layer missing. It's not something you'll see, and plus I'd rather get rid of that, fix what's behind that. It's probably gonna have tiny little holes here and there. Use Bondo and then paint it back black after that. So really it's this piece here, this which is going to take a bit of work and ingenuity, and this large piece just to make a new one. I'm going to use plywood because clearly this chipboard stuff, just wherever there was chipboard, it just takes on moisture, and that's that, and it just swells and bulges. That's no good. So yeah, making another one of these. Oh, and I have the playfield here under this child killing cloth. It's here. I've had it propped on, I don't know, 5 or 6, 7 pieces of wood just to keep it level and so it doesn't, you know, collapse under its own weight. This is going to take, I think this is the one that's going to take me the most time, really. I can see little pieces that are broken here. This mountain stuff, you can see this is broken. So it's going to be a lot of fiberglass repairs, stuff like that. Protecting this guy from dust, but I have the cloth now. So here, yeah, I'm going to see what I can do to just maximize so I don't have to take out stuff again. I'll probably have to order an entire bulb kit. See if these exist. Maybe a few rejob kits for the coils and all that, but that's way down the line. First I want to get the bodywork all finished, so let's get working on this guy. Okay, so I started clamping the sides on this guy because, well, there's one, that top layer here was slightly delaminating on the edge, so I'm just gluing it back and clamping it down. It's been clamped overnight, the past 24 hours actually now, so it's ready to come off. There's small pieces of wood that here that I needed to glue back and clamp back. They'll be fine. It'll save me having to just buy new wood, because good wood is expensive, and I'm trying to do this as best as I could on a shoestring budget, if you will, but it's feasible. So I just have to buy one piece for here. Oh, and also I've removed that top piece that was over there. Let me show you. Just that cover, and it came off all as one pretty much. I was able just to gently hammer it out. So I've saved all the those corners. I'm gonna just clean them. They're actually still good. I'm gonna reuse them. I'm gonna have to make another one of these pieces. So there's actually 3 pieces glued together here. That thin edge top here, maybe it was just machined out of one piece, but I'm gonna make it in 3 pieces and glue them together. I'm gonna use that wood over there, and so that's what I'm gonna do next. I've started painting the inside. I'll put a couple of coats of white. You don't want to paint it white all the way here, because there's an edge here, and this is gonna have to stay black, but I'll repaint it black properly so we get a uniform black, but halfway I'm sort of gonna create this, and it'll make things easier to see inside if I need to fix stuff, and because it gets really dark in there, and it'll be easier to clean. It'll be cleaner in general, and yeah. So that's the plan. So next, yeah, that's my goal today. I'm gonna make this piece, finished painting inside, unclamp, and then if I have time today, I have a lot of metal to clean. By the way, on the leg bolt pieces, it's here, isn't it? I have found, I forgot I had them, but I've a few of these leg bolts as spare already. Forgot I had them, so I'm going to use well, as many as I can, at least for the front. I think I should have 4 anyway for the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I have enough. I've more here. I think these are the old ones from the other pinball. Yeah, they're still clean enough, so I might be able to use these instead, and get away with just throwing the other ones, because they're fairly gone. The other thing on those legs is, where did I put them? Oh, they're down there. Yeah, so these are, but this is one of the legs here, as you can see, badly rusted. I put them already in just derusting gel, just keep it under control. So it's got sort of that, not as red, but that black kind of rust, and then that's mostly surface rust. It actually comes off pretty well if you use just a wire wheel, but as you can see, it's so pitted that I think I have no choice but sand it way down. I could buy a new one, but it's gonna, you know, it's just expenses, and I might be able just to rescue these and get them back shiny. If not, I'll have to send them to get powder coated. There's nobody doing chrome in Ireland. There's one company I was in touch with, and they do sort of industrial chrome finish. It's probably be like this, and it's like, actually it's not even that. It's still be shinier, but it's not that kind of nice cosmetic chrome finish. So I think the option, and it would be cheaper to powder coat, and anyway they haven't gone back to me. I did actually ask them, so the option is to send them to England, shipping and all that. That's going to be costly, and I'm still trying to do this Sunday, you know, with keeping the budget under control. So I think I'm just going to have first attempt at just sanding them down. Might be the occasion to buy myself a sander, what it is, yeah, blast sander compressor. You can get them quite cheap nowadays, so I might see that. I'll see if I can first address this, because all of these edges are going to be tricky to sand down, but I might be able to do that anyway. So I'll try this first, see if I can sand it back down to just nice and shiny, and if that works, I'll do the same on the other ones. Alright, so this is a sort of before. Actually, this one was so badly rusted, and after, it's not too bad. I still have some a bit of polishing to do, but I think, you know what, for what it is, and for restoration, I don't think it's too bad. I'm gonna have to find just a smaller head, sanding head for my my sander here, but other than that, this is just the raw, come on, focus, there you go, just the raw sanding. I used an angle grinder with sanding pads, and then just this wire wheel, come on, focus, and then this sander here after, with I think it's a 600 head on it, and it's a bit too big, so I'm gonna see if I can find something smaller just to go in those crevices. I'm not gonna bother doing much on the back. It's pitted here, but it's not rust, just it's pitting and it's darkening. I'll probably do another, just maybe a really thick wire wheel pass, just to keep it clean. WD-40, more interested in the front. So I think we'll get away with the stainless look here. You can see, if you look closely, I mean, there's still some pitting. It's not going to be visible because it's going to be on the bottom, but at least we can reuse these. That's the goal. First, keep it cheap, but reuse as much of the original cab as we can, and I think this will do that. So I still have some work on this. I need to just, you know, polish it better. I'm going to do a bit of research, finding some smaller sanding pads for my sander. But we are on the right track, and the good news is I can do it myself for cheap. I don't need to send them for sanding and recoating and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. So the almighty gods of YouTube statistics have informed me that 12 to 15 minutes seems to be the preferred length for videos on YouTube. So from now on, we'll probably cut these into smaller segments instead of having one long video that nobody watches until the end. I'll cut these into 12 to 15 minutes and maybe release them sooner and throughout the week. But let's do that. So I will cut right here.